Brilliant. So I'm here with the fabulous Lynsey Harrison from Fit for Social. Going to get her to introduce herself. But this is the first of my LinkedIn Lives for cleaning business owners or anyone in the service-based industry that feels like they're in a bit of a crowded market as well. Over the course of the next 12 months, I'll be interviewing different people looking at different aspects of what it takes to run a successful cleaning industry. I turned 13 this year, or Just Helpers turns 13, I turned 50. Yeah, over the last 13 years, I've come over many high mountains and many dark valleys. And I'd love over the next year just to impart some of my experiences, some of my learnings with you, and some of the learnings of my guests as well. But we're starting with Lynsey Harrison in the very first interview about how to get seen in the first place. Because as you know, being in the cleaning industry, particularly if you're somewhere like London, which is where Just Helpers is based, it feels like there are hundreds and thousands of us, and finding clients is that first big hurdle. Lynsey, welcome to LinkedIn Live. Tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us a bit about Fit for Social.
Firstly, Antoinette, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'm Lynsey Harrison. I am the founder of Fit for Social. I am a LinkedIn specialist and a personal brand strategist, and then I do a little sprinkle of social selling on top to help with that conversion and those much needed leads, as you were saying just there. So everything starts with a strategy. So we started our journey a long time ago, and that's the first thing that needs to be put in place. So having that strategy and then leveraging your social media presence to make sure that you are targeting your ideal clients and you are speaking to them personally so they buy. That is the key of it, really, Antoinette. So yeah, I achieve basically business growth and also personal growth for each of the clients that I work with. And I love working with amazing women and also purpose-led businesses, which is why our paths collide.
Absolutely. And what a joy that's been, might I add, for the last 7 years. So my first question for you really is, what are the most important elements of a strong brand for a cleaning business, especially, as I said, where things feel so competitive?
And I've thought long and hard about this. So there are five key elements that I think are really, really important in this. And I'll try and go through them really quickly for the audience out there. So the first thing is your USP. So USP, for people who are not in marketing lingo, is unique selling point. So it's busy out there. There's lots of competition, and you've got to own who you are and why you are different. That is really, really important in making you stand out from everybody else. So you've got to have that essence. You've got to have that mission, vision. You've got to have that why really, really deeply connected with your marketing and what's going out. The second thing is brand identity. So once we know who you are and what you do, you've got to look consistent. You've got to look different, and it's got to again resonate with your audience that you're wanting to speak with. So your logo, it's more than a logo. Your value proposition, all that, all comes together to having a strong and consistent brand identity. Really, really important. And that brand identity has got to be developed and delivered by effective marketing. So I'd love to say that you just do social media marketing and everything's going to be great, but we know that that is not the way that business works. You need the marketing package, you need the email marketing, you need the newsletters, you need ads ideally, you need to have the social selling, you need to have that investment in the whole of the marketing out there. And that might seem overwhelming initially, but we can start just with social media marketing, and that will give you visibility. The number 4 is, of course, you've got to be delivering excellent customer service, which I know Antoinette and Just Helpers, that's what she's grown her business on. Her morals, her ethics, but also being exceptional, and the helpers being exceptional in all that they deliver for the clients, time in, time out, through rigorous training and measures that I've seen Antoinette implement year on year, step by step as we go along. And then the 5th one, which builds on that exceptional customer service, is the trustworthiness and reputation. So once you've got that exceptional customer service coming in, that trust will lead to more business and lead to those personal referrals, and your reputation as the trusted cleaning service in your area and in your USP will then lead to business growth. So there's 5.
So give me a summary. I thought I'll tap them and I'll type them and pop them on the screen for us. So strong USP, number 1.
Strong USP, strong brand identity, number 2. Number 3, effective marketing, which means the whole marketing mix. Number 4 is exceptional customer service. And then number 5, trustworthiness and reputation. That's what it comes down to.
Cool. Got it.
Hope that was comprehensive enough. So when you get me, you get the full shebang.
So while people are percolating on that on screen, my second question is, over the last 7 years of working together and working with a brand like Just Help Us, from the time when we had no money, I'm like, Lyns, I need a full marketing strategy. What can we do? To times where we've had a more padded budget, through COVID as well, coming into that, trying to bounce out of that. What key strategies have you implemented with us to help us stand out? There have been many.
So, it's a journey. Working with any client and working with any marketing person that you choose to become part of your team, it is that team effort. And the key thing, I think, for me is, building a consistent online presence where you are showing up in the right places on the right platforms. So it's really, really important. And I pushed Antoinette right from the start in terms of we need to test and see where your audience is. And again, we want those touch points on the different platforms if we can. So we are maximizing the opportunity to be front of mind for that conversion ready to buy. That's really, really important. And being consistent with that is absolutely key in terms of what you're doing. So so consistency, testing different platforms, which is what I've said before. And I think, as I say, that relationship or between business owner and between marketeer is really, really important to make sure that you are pushing their boundaries and building their confidence. It's a comfort zone, it's pushing the comfort zones to come and do this. I remember, 7 years ago saying to Antoinette, you need to be doing lives and
Oh, horrendous.
Wow. She's come. So it's all about building that confidence, pushing those boundaries, and making the client see the value in kind of them coming forward and being present and showing their authentic self, which is where kind of personal brand comes into. And that's the thing that's always been there, but I think that's even more important now. You can't just have a brand. You need to have the person, the founder, the personal brand to be able to leverage that, because people buy from people, and that's the thing, and making sure that we do that. So yeah.
Okay, amazing. So I'm pivoting now, because some of these are such strong nuggets. I want people to be able to grab them as we're going. That's it. Great. So that's what came up in the last one. So if you're joining just now, I'm with Lynsey Harrison from Fit for Social, and we're looking at what helps cleaning businesses, in any business, but cleaning businesses in particular, develop a strong brand, strong presence, really, so they can increase their client base and increase their success rate. So I definitely remember the day where I was sat in my chair by my window and you saying that you've got to go live. I think I hung up and cried for a little while. And then
I hope you held your hand a little bit more than that and just let people do it.
Just the thought of it. No, you were very supportive and very directive, but it really felt that I felt like I was going to be exposed. I had the fear of, what if I mess up? What if I say something wrong or heretical? What if I'm proved a fraud to all of my peers? All of those things. Do I have to have makeup on? Do I have to, how do you do lighting? All of those things. And actually you were brilliant at helping me navigate so many of those things. And the reality is, things appear socially so quickly and they're gone. People have moved on. And that was probably one of the best things that you said to me. It doesn't matter if you mess up, maybe like 1 to 10% of your audience are going to see it and they'll have forgotten it within the next 5 minutes. And that's what you need to do. That's why it's into the next point. You need to consistently show up in the same space. And that's what we've been working on. In the next 7 years later, we're still developing, still iterating. And this year has been all about LinkedIn rather than other platforms that we've worked in the past. So leading nicely on to my third question, what platforms What types of content work best for cleaning businesses looking to attract and retain clients?
So, I'm going to go back to what I've just really said in the previous question, humanizing your brand. So we can have as many pictures of mops and other cleaning utensils and products and things like that. But the brain and the psychology of marketing is that people buy from people. People want to see people. People engage more with your posts if they are seeing a person in there. And it's important you've got a whole variety to make sure that your audience is seeing themselves in those different posts that you're putting out there. So having that inclusion and diversity within your marketing is really, really important to do that. But humanizing your brand is the key thing. So, yes, you might be in Canva making nice graphics, great, but make sure you have people. It's really, really important to be able to do that. From the testing and the measuring we've done year on year with Antoinette and Just Helpers, people love a before and after. They love to see the transformation and, that quick form video and all that, really, really does work very, very well. And cleaning tips, but more than cleaning tips, really cleaning tips because basically you're wanting to really sell your services to either a business or an individual. So those tips will be really, what are you gaining? What time are you gaining? What value are you adding to that person's life? What problem are you solving? That's really, really important to be able to kind of pull on those emotions, pull on those things to try and help with conversion as well. And also, don't be scared. Even if you are a small business just starting out, I've always pushed Antoinette to kind of tag in the big boys. So, we constantly are trying to build those brand partnerships and those influencer partnerships with big companies like Delphis Eco, ones that are aligned with Just Helpers. Don't be frightened to do that, because you're wanting to maybe leverage your reach with their reach. If they engage with you, you are able to then capitalize on that. You're going to get your eyes, different eyes on your content, which is what you're wanting to do. So yeah, don't be frightened. I've always pushed people to take risks in your marketing. Staying safe never got anybody anywhere. So you've got to go for it. And then of course, adapt and change for each platform. So, LinkedIn is different to Instagram. Instagram's different to TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. They're all there, but you need to be able to tailor your content for each of those different platforms to make it work.
Amazing. Okay, I couldn't actually fit all of that in one banner, so bear with. So my next question is about ethical marketing, because for us, our ethics are at the core of who we are. It's our USP, if you like. And it's one of the reasons why I loved working with you, because you really grasped that quite firmly early on. And you there are things that just aren't appropriate for us in the marketing mix because it doesn't chime well with our brand and who we are. So that's made it a little bit harder for people like us to find clients and to find people that want to buy ethically and align with us. And it's our big thing. So for anyone watching it, please do follow some of our content, because I think that every cleaning business should have this really as their USP. I'd almost like for us to go out of business because the whole of the UK were practicing ethically in terms of pay, dignity of work, and all of the other things. So I think you touched on it just a bit more. Why is it important for cleaning businesses to incorporate their values into their marketing strategies? And how do you communicate that whilst also saying, and we're cleaners?
It is, and it's something we have worked on together, definitely over the last 7 years, to say, how do we get the blend of, we are cleaning, but we are so much more than cleaning. Just Helpers has always been so much more than cleaning, and it's about educating the audience in terms of what your business is and what it stands for. And again, that's like when I said, right back in question number 1 of this interview, it comes down to your USP. It comes down to your vision, your mission, and your values. And they are so important in terms of, fundamentally important for your audience to understand that and for that to ground your marketing without a doubt. things have moved on. I think, marketing's changing all the time, but people are so much more aware, I think, of, people who are living in poverty. People are so much more aware of modern slavery, and the cost of living is hitting everybody at the moment. So, for me, it's kind of like, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution?
I love that.
And challenging the audience in terms of, why you are doing the right thing. And I'd argue that if you are a cleaning agency out there, speak to Antoinette, use people who are out there to find out how to build a business that is profitable, but also doing the right thing. It's fundamentally important, because you're shortchanging people, literally, and not providing the life that people should be having. So, and ultimately, from a business perspective, people will want to buy from people who are doing the right thing. So B Corps, all that side of things. And this is why my agency loves working with, purpose-led businesses, because they have their heart in the right place, and the business community there that can support that and move it forward, and that audience that will support that. So the values are fundamental, and being strong and proud to stand apart from people who are maybe not making the right choices.
Amen to that. Preaching to the choir here. And so I can tell you the last question. If a cleaning business owner was just starting out, like month one, we got maybe one client that's their next door neighbour, or maybe a sprinkling on their road, what one key thing could they do with a fairly small to non-existing budget? Could they do to establish? Maybe asking two questions here. What's the first thing they should do to establish their brand? And then maybe any tips with a small budget about what they could do to elevate them to the next step.
So I think they've got to be really clear on what they're providing. Are they a commercial cleaning? Are they a domestic cleaning business? Are they, end of tenancy? What are they? So again, it comes down to that kind of, what is your specialism? What are you wanting to do? And again, what makes you different? That's the key thing. But there are different elements of cleaning, and which bit are you going to go for first? So maybe niching down into one area and building something around that, and that specialism first of all. And then from that, you build a brand. So that would be the key thing. And like with all marketing, as I've said for years and years and years, you test. It's constantly changing. Things change all the time. So get some support if you can, even if it's a power hour or something like that. Pick the brains of the marketing people, pick the brains of people who are in the industry a long time. That will help you to solidify your thoughts and give you that confidence to go out there and just go for it.
Amazing. I think so. I still want to dig into that. Let's just say I've got 20 quid excess a month. That's kind of where I started way back then. What would be the best thing I could do marketing wise with that?
With £20.
£20 a month to get me my next 5 clients that grows my marketing budget.
I would be investing in a scheduling tool. I would take that £20 and I would be putting it in a scheduling tool. So you are running your marketing like a business would. So therefore you are utilizing your time effectively. All of your marketing and all of those leads and communications on your posts are coming into one sole place. And you can duplicate and adapt those posts that I said was important. And you can test those different platforms out from that scheduling tool. Plus, you'll get the analytics, and it's all about the numbers. It's all about the data in there. So I would definitely be, I would be investing in a scheduling tool. So I'll say, I love Metricool. Metricool is a great user-friendly, low-cost option that can provide that for businesses.
Amazing. I'm going to leave that up as one, just for a couple of minutes so people can grab that before they go. Thank you so much. I know for me, I think when I first started, it was all about printing ink. That's where I invested 13 years ago. Leaflets were still king. And so my marketing spend went into ink and posting things through letterboxes, but that very quickly became defunct. And I think most people will know that out there. Having an online presence is really 100% what is growing my business. Within 4 years, I realized I think scheduling tools were probably a thing, but they were for proper big marketing agencies. They weren't really accessible to the little people like me, or it felt like that.
That was your perception. Yeah, and that's interesting in itself.
Yeah. So actually, I think that's a brilliant recommendation of yours, because that is a game changer, completely. But actually, the biggest win for me, of course, has been getting you guys on board at Fit for Social and having professionals who really understand what's going on, who have got their finger on the pulse with all of the algorithms that keep changing out there in the socials, all of the rules that keep changing on a day-by-day basis. Just having that support with people that have invested in understanding my tone of voice, my business ethics. For example, I'm going away on holiday for a couple of weeks, but my marketing doesn't stop because you guys are on it in my tone of voice, completely understanding what the plan is for this year, with brilliant marketing agencies. They help you shape that plan rather than just you arrive like somebody that has no real knowledge of what's going on. We co-create together. Yes. And I love that. I understand my business. Actually, you understand my business as well as I do these days. That you understand the landscape of what's going out there. You understand who we need to be connecting with, who the movers and the shakers are. Even this morning, as I was sat on the loo browsing, we all do. I got a ping from Lynsey saying, I think you need to post this. Here's an image. Here's some suggested text. Post it tomorrow. By the time I left the bathroom, let's say, everything was wonderfully scheduled, bing, bang, boom. And so it's just having that support of eyes and ears that are out there all the time with creative genius and energy and passion for your business. So yeah, thank you so much for journeying with us for the last 7 years through all of the crazy things that we have done, tried, tested, and pushed into. And if there is a cleaning agency out there that's thinking, I'd love some support, what kind of support could Fit for Social offer at every stage of their business?
So my entry point is basically doing some consultancy. So I offer power hour services. So, that is an hour where you can pick my brain. So, we can get through as much as we can in an hour. So usually we do about, 3 or 4 questions, something like that. And I can really demystify social media marketing, because it is busy, it is noisy, and it is overwhelming. You're bombarded by so many different options. So just listening to one voice that can do that is a really helpful thing and an empowering thing for a business owner to be able to do that and do it themselves. That then leads into nurture packages. So I then offer the nurture packages. So monthly I can hold you to account and we can help put things in place. Social media strategy, personal brand strategy, really important, vital, in-depth. The reason why I'm able to market Just Help Us so well is because we've done that strategy. We've done a few strategies over the time where we've re-looked at things, how have things changed? But we've got a really strong plan in place in terms of what we're delivering and who we're speaking to and why, and how we deliver that is really important. And then, of course, the personal brand is really important. So, putting yourself out there is great. And then the social selling, we've not really touched on that, but that is the bit that helps with the conversion. They're the conversations, they're relationships online. It's important to have that. So yeah, but feel free to reach out. I'm sure Antoinette will tag me in so you can have a little look at my profile, and my Calendly's there if you'd like to have any meetings with me. That was fine. And the Metricool link also, I do have an affiliate link. I don't really get very much for it, but I'll put it in the comments there. So if you do want to click and you have a look, then you'll know you're definitely looking at the right place.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Always a joy. Come and join in the conversation. We'd love to hear what's worked for you. We'd love to understand what your USP is and how that's going for you, what you do about strategies, what you did with your very first bit of marketing budget. Share the love, that would be great as well. And what the next thing is, what your next wish list thing is for your marketing plan down the road. So share all of those as well. I think, here is where we need to collaborate, not compete, because in the end it's collaboration that helps us all grow. So thank you very much for listening. Until the next LinkedIn Live, which will be about sales and how to actually bag new customers, close that deal. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great December. Bye.